feel like this is going to edit together pretty good.
I think it's pretty smooth.
Hi, welcome to Ajay and Nathan Discuss Movies, the show where we discuss movies, both old and new. Today, this week, we have something a little different from you. Nothing in the theaters. We're getting a blast from the past.
Yeah, this is from our new series, Blast from the Past. We've had 3 or 4 movies/documentaries that were within this series before. You can check out our YouTube channel if you haven't already. But yeah, this is a Blast from the Past.
Yeah, no, and Ajay, what movie did we decide to watch this week?
Before we get into the movie.
Oh, yes, of course.
Do you think this is going to ruin the tour?
What tour?
The World Tour.
But once police spoke to Timberlake, they said it was clear the motorist was not in shape to drive, according to the complaint written by Sag Harbor Village police officer Michael Arkinson, per NBC News. Arkinson wrote it was ascertained that the defendant was operating said vehicle in an intoxicated condition and that his eyes were bloodshot and glassy, a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage was emanating from his breath, he was unable to divide attention, he had slowed speech, he was unsteady on foot, and he performed poorly on all standardized field sobriety tests.
Trolls World Tour is the movie we're discussing for today.
Oh my god, from the Trolls franchise.
Yeah. No, we're discussing a movie that currently sits at a 37% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. Oh, 37?
Yeah.
That's a little low.
Yeah.
That's a little low. I mean, it's not a 90%, but 37.
Yeah. There's some
That's
good...
a little mean.
There's some good parts about this movie. Obviously, we're discussing the sci-fi movie called In Time.
In Time. And Ajay, what is In Time about?
All right. So In Time, it's funny you mentioned that. It's funny you asked me that.
Yeah.
But In Time is basically a sci-fi dystopian film set in the not so near but distant future, in which there is no such thing as money. No. Time is money, which is a very, very used trope within this movie, I would say.
Yeah.
But time is money. People are given 25 years to live, and then after that, they're given 1 year, and it's shown on their left arm.
Yeah.
It stars Justin Timberlake as Will Solace, as he is a fugitive for killing or is suspected to have killed a very influential person. He's on the run alongside his Bond girl Amanda Seyfried. Action, hilarity, romance ensues.
Yeah. No. And what did you think of this movie? And I guess why did we choose this movie?
All right. So there's a few reasons as to why we chose this movie.
Yeah.
One is because we're massive fans of Andrew Niccol.
True. Andrew Niccol is a wonderful director.
He's a wonderful director. 2, I thought about this idea when Justin Timberlake got arrested in the Hamptons.
Which is now, that news is now like
a month old.
So we're in theme because we're right in time, right on time.
Give me some time. Give me some time. Lend me an hour.
Yeah, giving you a second.
We really do a good job in terms of trying to curb the algorithm.
Oh, exactly.
Curb the algorithm. That's what we do the best on this channel. We understand the trending topics of today's world, and we try to act accordingly.
There's been no big news since Justin Timberlake got arrested for a DUI. Nothing else has happened since then.
It's just, Richard Harrison passing away. That's it.
Richard Harrison?
The yoga guy.
Richard Simmons?
Richard Simmons, yeah. Sorry. Richard Simmons, Richard Harrison. Maybe I mixed up Richard Simmons with George Harrison. I don't know.
R.I.P. Richard Harrison.
Yeah. R.I.P. Richard Harrison. But yeah, we decided to discuss this movie because I think there's a lot of good qualities within this film.
I do too. It's a weird movie. For every kind of great idea, there's something it kind of does to fumble it, but I don't know. Andrew Niccol is such an interesting writer and director. He has a lot of cool films and sci-fi ideas. He directed Gattaca. That's another sci-fi film. Lord of War, not sci-fi, but just a very kind of cool movie starring Nick Cage. And then he wrote The Truman Show as well.
He wrote and produced The Truman Show as well. He's had some other films in between that time frame as well.
Yeah, I think so. I can't. The only other one I know is The Host, which is based off a Stephanie Meyer novel, the writer of Twilight.
observing the behavior of planaria, aka flatworms.
Which I wouldn't want on my resume.
Yeah. But Andrew Niccol, I think this is his like first big budget film past Lord of War, I would say.
Yeah.
And again, it stars Justin Timberlake as Will Solace. And overall, did you enjoy this film?
I did enjoy it. It's a very interesting concept. I think that's the strength of the movie. Is that like, oh, the time is money angle is a fun kind of sci-fi concept that you can do a lot with. I think my problem though is I feel like the movie doesn't do enough with the concept.
Yeah.
It's more focused on using that like sci-fi skin to just be like an action thriller, which it isn't a bad action thriller.
I mean, I love the action in this film.
Oh no, it's
the car chase scenes in particular are amazing.
They're really good. No, it's
Well
very
shot.
well directed. But I guess I'm looking for a little bit more meat on this particular bone. I guess the extent of world building we get are all the puns.
Yeah.
I'll give you 10 minutes for an hour.
And there's a lot. We'll include a bunch of... we'll include a compilation of all of them. There's like nearly like 8 or 9 minutes of puns here.
Yeah.
I'm happy to announce that Weiss Time Lenders is now offering interest-free loans with no payments. Help yourselves and take a day.
Take a month. Hell, take a year.
Overall, I agree with you. I think that the overall premise was great.
Yeah.
It's a very well thought out premise. Does it borrow existing tropes from like Gattaca and from other films of his?
Yeah, I was definitely feeling Gattaca.
The execution could have been a bit better. But I think this is a film that was a relic of its time.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, because I think that this film was very influential in terms of the action films that we see today. And I think in a lot of ways, without this film, we wouldn't have had Christopher Nolan's Tenet, which I think is very, I wouldn't say similar to this film, but it does borrow the same cliches and tropes, and cliches in a good way, I'd say.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I was definitely thinking of Christopher Nolan as I was watching this movie. It very much felt kind of like an idea that he would come up with, or like a similar kind of concept. That's what I was thinking of as I was watching the movie. I'm just like, I was enjoying myself, but I'm like, who could really like expand upon this kind of premise? And like the Christopher Nolan kind of came to mind. I feel like he's got that very technical mind about like how all of this works, and the weakness of In Time is that it's not as technical as I would like it to be. It doesn't have to. Like, I don't need like a big like dump about like, well, how do we put the clocks in their arms? Like, I don't need that, but like I do need a bit more like, I guess, world building.
Yeah, I think this film is very easy to nitpick.
It is, yeah.
It's very easy to nitpick, but if you just like, and this is going to sound so dumb, but if you just turn your brain off,
yeah, no,
it's a dumb way to think about films. I understand that, but in this instance, I think if you just watched it for what it is, and you sort of viewed it as like a critique of the rich and powerful, which I think this film is trying to go for.
It's definitely going for that.
I can definitely tell.
Society.
I can definitely tell Andrew Niccol is very influenced by like Occupy Wall Street, which was very prevalent during that time. I feel like if you have that perspective while watching this film, you'll come away with it understanding that it should just be viewed as like in the same vein as like an action thriller.
Yeah, no, it leans more towards that like Hollywood action thriller, and I think it does deliver on that if what you're looking for is, you know, like thrills and fights and car chases, if that's what you're looking for. And then the sci-fi stuff is put to the back, but like it's there to add kind of like a cool, nice little sheen to it.
What were some of your favorite moments in this film?
I was mentioning that like the world building, like I wish it could be expanded upon more, because I kind of like the little nuggets we get of like how this world kind of operates. Because in the movie, Justin Timberlake's character Wilde, he gets like a century of time added to his arm, and that allows him to like go to like the rich city where all the rich people live. They're in a separate time zone. It's where they pass through. You got to go through the time zone to get to the rich city, and upon getting there, he's like trying to like run from destination to destination. Then he notices, oh, people are just kind of like sauntering about because they don't need to rush. They have all the time in the world. So like seeing those like little differences, like all the the people in like the poorer cities, they have to run everywhere. They have to be constantly like
There was a lot of
rushing.
running in this movie.
There is a lot of running, but like within the story, it's like it's kind of fun because it makes sense. Just like, oh, these people are living like with an hour of time on their hands, so they gotta like rush to make ends meet, literally, or else they die. And so that's a fun little bit of world building, like how the rich city, everyone's kind of like, they have bodyguards everywhere. They're very like careful because they have all this time. They can do whatever they want, but like if like they can still die, and so they're all very careful. There's the scene where he buys like a sports car, and the guy's just like, now where would you like this delivered? Where would you like this displayed? He's like, what? No, I'm gonna drive it.
59 years. Plus tax.
Price includes delivery
Delivery?
to wherever you're going to display it.
Display it. Hell, I'm gonna drive it.
How did you feel about so those were some of your favorite moments.
Yeah, no, just like when there is the world building, I think it's very fun, very interesting seeing how this world operates and the differences between like the haves and the have-nots, kind of how their daily lives operate.
I liked in the beginning of the film Olivia Wilde is portrayed as the mother.
Yeah, his mom is Olivia Wilde because everyone stops aging
At 25.
At 25, and so everyone is just sexy forever.
She was so hot in this film.
Good
But having said
lady.
that, there was one moment in the film which I was like kind of, I mean, not to nitpick, obviously I don't want to nitpick, but she was like running in heels because apparently it costed like 2 hours to drive in the bus, but it took only 2 hours to walk. So like for her to run, it took the exact same amount of time it took for her to walk. And you just see her die.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why would you run if you knew it would take the exact same amount of time for you to walk? And if you were running in heels, why didn't you just take the heels off?
Take the heels off.
You don't need to run
If you're
like
gonna do
heels.
anything, take the heels off. It's like you'll get more traction in those.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, no, it's funny. There's a line that's said by like the rich guy, like later on in the movie, like he's the dad and like Amanda Seyfried is his daughter. And he's like talking to Justin Timberlake and he's like, I bet you're wondering, just like, is that my daughter, wife, grandmother? It used to be so easy to tell what the deal was. It's kind of a funny line because everyone is perpetually stuck at like 25 and therefore sexy forever.
Yeah, it reminded me of that scene where he was introducing Will Salas, his family. He's like, this is my mother-in-law, Clara, my wife, Michelle, and my daughter, Sylvia. And it's just like three exact same carbon copies.
they all look the same, and they're like all like supermodels.
It's so crazy.
Allow me to introduce my mother-in-law, Clara, my wife, Michelle, and my daughter, Sylvia.
It's very funny, but like that kind of stuff is what's really fun in the movie.
Yeah. Everyone looks good in this film.
I
Even the
know.
alcoholic played by Johnny Galecki of The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, Bazinga, yeah, him. Just like a perpetual society where everyone's good looking, and it was funny because again, like all the poor people have to run. They're just like, no wonder Justin Timberlake is in such good shape.
Yeah.
These poor people are so hot because they have to run everywhere. They have such good cardio. I would love a remake of this movie where everyone from like the like poor side of the community, they're all just like super ripped, super buff, and then all the rich people are like fat and just gelatinous because they don't move. They don't need to move. He just gets to the city and they're all just in motor scooters.
They're like it's at a Walmart or something.
It's just like giant Walmarts.
How did you feel about the cinematography, the visuals of this film?
I really like the visual style of the movie. Do
you know who DP'd it?
Who did?
Roger Deakins.
No, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wow. Good for him. I mean, it is a really good looking movie, and I really kind of love the aesthetics of it because it's not like big, like crazy, like sci-fi cyberpunk city. It's all very like stripped down. It's like the cities are very industrial. It's this stripped down kind of like sci-fi sort of like dystopia.
It reminded me a lot of how Paul Verhoeven shoots Detroit in RoboCop.
Yeah. It's like, it's still kind of like a sci-fi city, but it's also like a shitty industrial town. It's still crappy Detroit.
Yeah.
And another movie I was thinking of was kind of like Looper.
Yeah.
The Rian Johnson movie.
Which was
Again,
released a year after this film.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's very close. Yeah, no, I was getting a lot of Looper just from
But
the
I'm not
visual
gonna lie,
style.
I prefer this film over Looper.
I can understand that.
I just
That's fair
find it
enough.
more intriguing and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll save our discussion for Looper.
Yeah, we'll save it
because
for
that
the
is a
different
can of worms.
hard left turn. What other moments of the film did you enjoy? I'll be honest with you. I enjoyed the poker scene a lot. It reminded me a lot of Casino Royale, but in a more like abridged way.
Yeah, no, I was definitely getting like a like a James Bond vibe, especially when the guy's just like, "Well, what's your name, sir?" He's like, Will Salas." I'm like, oh my god. Rolled my eyes, Justin Timberlake.
So I like that scene. The poker scene was really good. The scene in which they were basically doing like arm wrestling, but through being like having exchanging of the arms.
Yeah.
Between the Minutemen and Justin Timberlake.
That
scene was also really good as well. I like that scene.
That is a cool scene. I do like the fight in that scene. I can't get over the like arm twisty thing that they do. Like that's how they like, you can give someone time or you can take time depending.
If you're on the bottom, you can give time, but if you're on the top, that means you're taking time.
You're taking time. Yeah.
If you wanted to transfer time to me, you would do it like this.
Right. You would. Yeah. So it'd be with your right hand, and so if I'm on top, I'm taking time, and if you're on top, you're taking time.
Oh, that's how that works. Oh, okay. And how?
It's just why wasn't it just arm wrestling? Because like the twisty arm thing, I'm just like, how are you leveraging? I think it should have just been competitive arm wrestling. Because like otherwise, just like it just looks like these guys are just like holding hands, kind of. Just like everyone, just like really intently, just like holding the other guy's hand, just waiting for the clock.
Yeah.
Should have just been, I don't know, like that Sylvester Stallone movie Over the Top where there's like competitive arm wrestling.
Yeah. So those were some of my favorite moments of the film.
Yeah.
Another part of the film that I enjoyed was Cillian Murphy doing like a full like 360 reveal to Justin Timberlake before he shoots him.
Oh my god.
And then Amanda Seyfried out of nowhere from like the payphone decides to shoot Cillian Murphy's character. That was the most hilarious thing ever because there are so many times in this film where Cillian Murphy's character can easily just shoot Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, but
he doesn't.
He doesn't.
That's the best part.
I almost forgot that Cillian Murphy was like even in the movie.
Yeah, he looks very different to what he looks now. In terms of the way of his hairstyle.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I guess that. But I don't know. His character was kind of weird. I was trying to understand like what exactly the role of the timekeepers was when we initially meet them.
And that's where the movie kind of gets muddy because you don't understand the intentions of these antagonists.
Yeah.
Or why they're so against Will Salas and Sylvia in the first place.
There's like two separate kind of like antagonist, I guess, gangs. There's the timekeepers, which I guess are like
FBI
cops / the bank.
Yeah.
Kinda, which like I guess that concept makes sense for this world, but like his motivations are kind of muddy until like at the very end, spoilers, Justin Timberlake is like, "Oh, you grew up in the poor city, but now you have a government job and you want to keep your government job." And he's like, "Yes, and I also killed your dad, by the way." I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then spoilers, he just kind of dies.
Yeah, he runs out of time.
He's like, he runs out of time.
He couldn't get a recharge in the time machine mobile.
The term they use is timed out.
Yeah, he timed out.
They put him in time outs. That's what execution is in this world.
Some of these death scenes are hilarious.
They are, because it's I guess they're having like a heart attack or something. Like there's a scene where there's like a gang. It's a completely separate gang called the Minutemen.
Yeah.
And I guess they're just kind of just like, yeah, a gang that like steals poor people time. and just like they hold hands with a guy while they're interrogating him. He's like, please no. They suck up all his time, and then he just kind of goes, ah. It's like people have like ragdoll physics, like it's Grand Theft Auto.
It's like a Call of Duty video game where just like they just die in the weirdest way.
Just like their bodies like kind of fold and crumble. Yeah. There's like an audible just like kind of sound effect from their chest. It's weird. Yeah. It's very strange.
Other moments that we enjoyed, the car chase scenes in both parts of the film.
There are some really good car chases in this movie. The action is actually pretty legit for the movie, I would say.
How did you feel about the acting in this film? Obviously, Justin Timberlake's in it, Amanda Seyfried, Cillian Murphy, Olivia Wilde.
These are all really good actors, and they're doing really good, but I feel like there's not enough for them to really work with, I would say. Justin Timberlake, he's pretty good. But I feel like the movie kind of is not very well paced, and so we're just kind of like rushing. I feel like when he has that inciting incident where his plan when he gets to like the rich city, he's like in the taxi, he's like, I'm gonna take these people for all they've got, and then he just kind of like dicks around. He just like gets breakfast and buys a car and then like goes play some poker, and then it's like, uh-oh, the cop bankers are here, and then like there's a plan. It's just like it feels kind of aimless, and like characters' motivations also kind of feel that way, and so there's not much to the characters themselves. The actors are giving fine performances. Justin Timberlake's pretty good. Amanda Seyfried is pretty good, even though her role is kind of delegated to like manic pixie dream girl kind of stuff. Cillian Murphy's, again, a great actor, but like he's playing a character that's fairly like one note, just like, this is my job. I'm the bank cop. You got to stop this, Will. It's just like good performances, but like the script is not really there for the performers, I think.
I think in terms of understanding Justin Timberlake in this film, like you have to realize how popular Justin Timberlake was at this time.
Yes.
Because
oh my god, yeah. No, I forgot about that.
It's easy to be like, oh, why is Justin Timberlake in this film? But it's like he is the film.
He used to be such a big deal. I understand why that one cop didn't recognize him. He wasn't born when Justin Timberlake was everywhere, making music, like in movies, everywhere. He was on, like, SNL all the time.
He was one of the biggest pop stars of that era. Like, if in terms of pop, it was Beyonce, JT, Rihanna.
Yeah.
That was what it was, and he was in front of us through SNL with Lonely Island, Dick in a Box, really good song.
Oh yeah.
It's my in a box. In a box, girl. It's my in a box. In a box, girl.
Future Sex Love Sounds, where he had the buzz cut. Dude, this is going to be very embarrassing to admit this, but since we're on the topic of JT,
let's do it.
I would bring pictures of Justin Timberlake with a buzz cut to Supercuts and Sports Clips and say, hey, can you make me look like this guy? That's how popular Justin Timberlake was at one point in time. So I tried to do my best to look like JT, and that wasn't the case.
You look a lot like Justin Timberlake.
I do. That's what I've been told.
You got it on.
So yeah, it's important to acknowledge that at one point Justin Timberlake was like basically like the ruler of the entire world.
Yeah, no, he was
3 number 1 singles.
Big, yeah.
He had Carry Out with him and Timbaland like a year or two before.
Oh my god, I remember
what a great
that.
song that was.
Oh yeah,
remember that song?
I do.
I have you open all night like your IHOP. I just can't get enough. I gotta drive through. I can tell the way you like it, baby. Super size.
1, I take 2 number 3s. That's a whole lot of you and a side of me. And if it's room for dessert, then I want a piece. Have it your way for play before I feed your appetite.
Now that you're mentioning it, it's weird how like so much Justin Timberlake has like been around in my lifetime, and I'm only now just realizing, just like, Jesus, this guy was kind of like the it thing for such a chunk of my existence.
He started one of the best rom-coms of the 2010s, Friends with Benefits.
Oh, with Mila Kunis, yeah.
He gave a great performance in the Fincher Sorkin movie.
He did.
The
Social Network. He did give a good performance in that movie. He's not a bad actor.
He just needs to be given the right script, the right direction.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it wasn't there in this film, I would say.
Not really.
But that doesn't mean that this is a bad film. I think that this is deserving more than a 37% on Rotten Tomatoes, easily.
37's pretty low. I'd say this movie, if I were to give a number score to it, I'd give it a 6, maybe 6.5, bordering on 7 if I were drunk, perhaps. It's not terrible. It's very well directed, and there are some cool ideas. It just doesn't go all in on those ideas, and I think it doesn't really take its time to like really think out and develop the world it's trying to build. I actually made up like a little list of like movies that this kind of reminded me of. I'm just gonna pull that out real quick. That's because I was thinking of it. Yeah, no. Looper, Gattaca, Logan's Run.
Logan's Run, yeah.
Which is a
big one.
It was like 60s, 70s, like the society where everyone ages up till like
it was Gattaca and Logan's Run. It was a combination of those two films.
And then like two like lesser things to a lesser extent, but like still I think kind of reminded me of this movie. Bonnie and Clyde, because that's kind of the turn the movie takes, where it's like him and Amanda Seyfried team up to go rob banks and give back to the people, but it happens in like the third act, and so it's kind of just out of nowhere. It's a heist film now.
Yeah.
And then I just wanted to mention this because I couldn't get it out of my head. Have you ever watched the show Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix? Just like short animated films David Fincher produced.
I haven't seen it.
Regardless, there's an episode called Pop Squad that's kind of it's kind of very reminiscent of this film, because it's like a society where like people are basically immortal, and there's like a group of like cops who kind of like come in to like keep the status quo, making sure like the super rich immortals stay on top and that the like lesser societies stay at the bottom. That's kind of something I was thinking of while watching this movie. But like, yeah, it's an interesting concept, and it and a lot of other movies have done similar concepts. It's just like this movie in time leans more on the action than it does like the philosophical or like the technical aspects of its world.
Yeah. It's not innovative in any sense of the word.
No.
But it is a fun, thrilling watch.
Yeah.
I enjoyed my time while watching this film.
I definitely did. I was definitely thoroughly entertained while watching it. It is a fun, quick watch. A breezy watch too. It's maybe like it's like an hour and 40.
Yeah.
I think it's not a long movie, which I think it could have been longer, just like to add more to like how this world kind of operates. Just because like there's still things I'm unsure of. Like they have like a bunch of time that they steal, and they bring it to like this guy who just kind of like gives time out for free.
Yeah.
It's maybe a church or something like that.
And also how they break into the bank is kind of weird.
I'm happy to announce that Weiss Time Lenders is now offering interest-free loans with no payments. Help yourselves and take a day.
Take a month. Hell, take a year.
Oh yeah, no, they just drive a truck through it. They just drive a truck through it and then like open a big vault. It's like the vault from Spider-Man 2 that Otto Octavius robs. Just like they just open it up and just, oh my god, everyone, take all the time. It's all here. You can just have it.
Yeah, there were a lot of moments in this film that made no sense.
Yeah,
like the Minutemen were trying desperately to find Will Salas because he has a lot of time.
Yeah,
but in the process, they also find a lot of people that have time. So it's like, why go and trouble yourself by finding Will Salas when all the people have all the time they need right in front of you? And just like siphon the time off of them.
It's like, I guess they bring up that like, again, because they're like the bank, and it's like they're raising, the rich people are raising the cost of living, so like they stay, and like there's something about like a stock market crash within
they hint at that at the end of the film.
It's like the movie kind of wants to end it like the end of Fight Club, or like Project Mayhem. It's like, we're gonna reset the national debt, but it's like it's like the part of the movie where it's like, I kind of want to know more about how this world operates, because none of the math is working in my brain for it's like, well, what does a crash mean in this reality?
It would have made sense if like Will Salas' character, whose father died, was like the main contributor to this idea.
Yeah.
And he got broke because of it. And he died because he tried to fight for like the poors. And Will Salas, because of that, is trying to fight on poors because of what his father did. And he feels kind of liable for it. And it would have made a little bit more sense. Maybe not a ton of sense.
I think that's kind of the backstory that they wanted for his dad. Because at one point he's just like, my dad wasn't... He was fighting, but like the fighting was like the hand holding competition thing. He's like, he was taking his time and giving it to the people. And then Cillian Murphy is like, I shot your dad because he was giving time to the people. I killed the leader of the Galactic Rebellion. Boo. And then by that time he gives all that up. He's like, oh, my clock has run out. And then he ragdoll physics and dies.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to nitpick it. You know, there was like that scene in which Justin Timberlake and Amanda Seyfried like go unconscious because of that car accident.
Yeah, that was a wild car flip. They're just like in the smallest.
I think it was a toy car.
Yeah, no, it was like a tiny little like sports car with like an open like top cover, and it flips like 4 times.
and they're for some reason
they're fine. It's just like, I'm willing to let a lot of things in a lot of movies slide, but the second they like did like 3 flips forward and then landed upright, I'm like, dead. No, dead. Concussion, you broke your neck, you cannot walk anymore, you're dead.
You can't nitpick this film. If you do it, you're not going to enjoy it.
Yeah, and it's a movie that's very easy to nitpick. But like, if you just want a fun time, just like a nice little like thriller with a sci-fi sheen, just like it is a fun watch.
Yeah, the premise is great. The execution not so much, but
it
the
leaves
journey,
a lot to be desired. Yeah,
but the journey into getting into that final act, I think that is well worth your time watching. Stick around for the leads' performances. I think without Justin Timberlake, this film falls flat on its face. I really do think so. If any other actor was in this position, they wouldn't have really done well. Amanda Seyfried, I think, also does pretty well for what she's given. Yeah.
None of these people are bad actors. They're just the script is not giving them enough, but you know, they're making it work.
They're making it work.
They're pulling it out. They're making it work.
Yeah, Justin Timberlake's buzz cuts were doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
Justin Timberlake's. I'm gonna like take like several dozen like screenshots of this movie and bring it to my barber.
Yeah, I already did that.
Can I borrow some of these pictures?
Might as well.
Hell yeah.
So, anyways, I think that's it.
Yeah. No. Again, it's a nice breezy movie. If you miss Justin Timberlake. If you're like, where is he?
Yeah.
What's he up to? Just give me In Time 2.
Yeah, give us a sequel. That's good.
2 In Time.
Starring Justin Timberlake, you know.
You can bring them all back. They haven't aged a day. They have that special magic clock.
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy's still looking good. Everyone's looking good. They can bring it back.
Have Olivia Wilde direct it because she did a stellar job with Don't Worry, Darling.
Yeah, bring back Olivia Wilde to direct.
You know, I think this might be a bit of a wake-up call for Miss Flo, and I want to know if you're open to giving this a shot with me. With us, if she really commits, if she really puts her mind and heart into it at this point, and if you guys can make peace, and I respect your point of view, I respect hers, but if you guys can do it, what do you think?
Yeah, no, that just kind of killed me. It just kind of killed my brain that I have to remember Don't Worry, Darling. I am worried.
I mean, if there were a sequel, which there won't be.
There won't.
I don't think so. But yeah, definitely. Andrew Niccol would probably still do well directing it. I would like to see Paul Verhoeven direct a sequel for this film.
Oh my god, a Paul Verhoeven directing this material? Do you know how much fucking there would be?
Do you know how much blood there would be everywhere, dude?
Oh my god, it would actually be amazing.
Yeah. I was thinking about that the entire time. I was like, if Paul Verhoeven made this film. Yeah. But yeah, Christopher Nolan. I think Christopher Nolan kind of perfected it with Tenet.
Yeah.
Even though people may have their reservations with Tenet. I also do. But I do think that, as you were saying, Christopher Nolan, this was a movie that was made for Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, he could kind of take this material and do it and really extrapolate on it, I think.
Yeah. So overall,
not a bad watch. Those are
not
our
a
thoughts.
bad watch. Those are our thoughts. There's nothing else that we can add.
No, nothing, not much else. Check out the world tour, I guess.
Check out the world tour. Check out Deadpool and Wolverine. Maybe not opening weekend.
Maybe not opening. I mean, we will. Don't drink and drive. It's very important. Don't do that. Drink responsibly.
Yeah. We should probably discuss Southland Tales. I think.
Oh my god.
That's our next film because even that includes Justin Timberlake.
I know it does. The Rock, Sarah Michelle Gellar. Oh my god.
Danny Kelly with his sophomore slump of a project.
Donnie Darko. Oh my god, yeah, no. Sorry, no Deadpool and Wolverine next week. We're going to talk about Southland Tales.
Yeah. We'll probably talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. I don't know.
Yeah, we will.
Which we're not excited to watch.
We have to jump back into the algorithm.
Yeah, and we gotta sit next to fatties at our screenings who
Boy,
will laugh and guffaw when they hear a Kevin Feige reference or a...
Grown men are gonna cry when they see Hugh Jackman in a yellow suit.
Yeah, we saw that Reddit article.
Grown men were crying when Hugh Jackman showed up dressed as Wolverine.
We need to stop the infantilization of adult male comic book fans, dude. We gotta stop it. And it's with us. It starts with us masculine boys. Or us bad boys out there.
Yeah. Yep.
We are the purveyors. We're the trendsetters of masculinity.
Oh yeah,
film.
we're what you call alpha males.
Just don't, turn the camera to the left of you where you see a bunch of figurines and comic books. But we'll just keep it here. We'll keep it here.
We'll keep it here.
We won't pan the camera.
You'll never see what's over there.
Right.
None of it is embarrassing.
All right, I think that's it.
Thank you for watching. Bye.
Remember that time you showed the world Janet Jackson's titty?
That was awesome!
Do that again.